Hello, everyone. So I hope your studies are going well. Institute has already started with the second mock test, and today we are going to discuss the mock test 2 paper. So if you have not already watched mock test 1 paper, you should go and watch it that also. And obviously, this we will be doing mock test 2. Ashok goes to a supermarket to buy an air conditioner. He selects a branded air conditioner having a price. Okay, the moment I see a price tag is what? Invitation to offer. After a after a discount of 3,000, Ashok reaches at the cash counter for making the payment, but the cashier says, "Sorry, sir, the discount." Okay, so again, discount is also an invitation to offer. Was up to yesterday, there is no discount from today, hence, you have to pay 43,000. Ashok gets angry and insists for 40,000. State with reasons whether Ashok can enforce. No. Because it's an invitation to offer, Ashok cannot enforce. He is liable to pay 43,000. Rahul, a transporter, was entrusted with the duty of transporting tomatoes from a rural farm to a city by Ashwin. Due to heavy rains, Rahul was stranded for more than 2 days. Rahul sold the tomatoes below the market rate in the nearby market where he was stranded, fearing that the tomatoes may perish. Can Ashwin recover the loss from Rahul on the grounds that Rahul had acted beyond his authority? Here, there is an agency in emergency. And considering the fact that he was not in a position to communicate, if all those things happen, then in that case, he has acted as an agent out of emergency. And since he has acted, just because you have sold it below the market rate, doesn't mean it is not a man of ordinary prudence. He has acted as a man of ordinary prudence. So in this case, the sale is absolutely valid and Ashwin cannot recover any damages from Rahul. Mr. Mohan had purchased some goods from Sunflower Limited on credit. A credit period of 1 month was allowed to Mr. Mohan. Before the due date, Mr. Mohan went to the company and wanted to repay the amount due from him. He found only Mr. Ramesh there, who was the factory supervisor. Mr. Ramesh told Mr. Mohan that the accountant and the cashier are on leave. He is in charge of receiving money and he may pay the amount to him. He issued a money receipt also under his signature. Now, please understand this is something internal. He said, I am in charge and they are on off, and he also issued a money receipt. Indoor management. And in case of indoor management, I am not liable for anything. After 2 months, Sunflower, so is the payment valid? Yes. After 2 months, Sunflower Limited issued a notice to Mr. Mohan for non payment of the dues within the stipulated period. Is he liable to pay? No, he has already paid. Mr. Mohan informed the company that he has already cleared the dues and he is no more responsible. He also contended that Mr. Ramesh is an employee of the company whom he had made the payment, and being an outsider, he trusted the words of Mr. Ramesh as duty distribution is a job of the internal management. Whether Mr. Mohan is free from his liability? Yes. As far as internal management is concerned, as for an outsider, I don't have to check into the internal management since the payment was made in due course, having the belief that the person has a right to receive. The payment is absolutely valid. Mike Limited is incorporated in India, having a liaison office at Singapore. Explain in detail the meaning of foreign company incorporated outside India, having a place of business in India. And analyze whether Mike Limited would be called as a foreign company. No, because it is incorporated in India, and for a foreign company, it has to be incorporated outside India. Whether a minor may be admitted in the business of a partnership firm. Explain the rights of a minor under the Partnership Act. A minor cannot become a partner of a firm because, as per the Indian Contract Act, in the case of Moiri Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh, it was clearly given that he cannot enter into an agreement, and a partnership arises out of agreement. However, as per Partnership Act, he can be admitted to the benefits of the firm. When a minor is admitted to the benefits of the firm, he has a right to share his profits. He has a right to check, inspect, and copy the accounts of the firm. He has a right to sue the other partners for his share, provided he severs all his connections with the firm. Within 6 months from the day he attains majority or the day he comes to know he was a beneficiary, whichever is later, he has to give a notice of whether he wants to become a partner or not. And if he fails to give notice, he will automatically become the partner of the firm. An auction sale of certain goods was held on 7th March by the fall of the hammer in favor of the highest bidder. The payment of auction was made on 8th March, followed by delivery of the goods on 10th March. Based upon the provisions of Sale of Goods Act, decide when auction sale is complete. Auction sale is complete on the fall of the hammer. That means here, auction sale is complete on the 7th of March. Certain goods were sold by sample by J to K, who in turn sold the same goods to L, and L by sample sold the same goods to M. M found that the goods were not according to the sample and rejected the goods and gave a notice to L. L sued K and K sued J. Can M reject the goods? Yes. When the sale is made by sample and the goods are not as per the sample, can you reject the goods? Yes. Also advise K and L as per the provisions. Now, what happens is you can return the goods back if the sale is made by sample and the goods are not as per the sample. But if you've accepted the goods, the sale is valid. When K gives the goods to L on sale on approval, he has accepted the goods. And once you have accepted the goods, can you return them back? No. The moment L gives the goods to M, he has already accepted the goods. And once you have accepted the goods, can you return the goods back? No. So M has a right to reject the goods, but K and L don't have a right to reject the goods. Mr. Rajiv, an assessee, was a wealthy man earning huge income by way of dividend and interest. He formed three private companies and agreed with each to hold a block of investment as an agent for them. The dividend and the interest income received by the company was handed back to Rajiv as a pretended loan. This way, Rajiv divided his income into three parts in a bid to reduce his tax liability. Decide what was the purpose of this. So, this is obviously lifting of corporate wheel. The name of the case is Sir Dinshaw Manikji Pettit. And also, we have a similar case in the Indian law. And what is the name of the case? Jugilal versus Income Tax Commissioner. The wheel of all the three companies will be lifted, as the purpose of these companies were just to avoid the payment of. So, maybe disregarded? Yes. LLP is an alternative corporate business form that gives the benefit of LLP of a company and the flexibility of partnership. Explain. So, it is a hybrid of partnership and company. When it comes to partnership, it gives the flexibility, as in the LLP, the partners of the LLP can actually have the flexibility to decide the rights and liabilities mutually amongst themselves. Right? So, this flexibility comes from partnership. Whereas they enjoy the flexibility of company because, as in company, the LLP also has limited liability, a separate legal entity, as well as in case of like a company, LLP also has perpetual succession. State with reasons whether the following are partnership as per the provisions under the Indian Partnership Act. So the first one is X, Y, and Z agree to divide the profits equally, but the loss, if any, shall be borne by X alone. Is it a case of partnership? Yes, because we can have partners who do not bear the losses, and it's absolutely valid. X is a publisher agrees to publish a book at his own expense, written by Y, and to pay Y half of the net profit. Does this create a relationship of partnership? No. He is a publisher, he's publishing on behalf of Y. But, ma'am, he's sharing half of the net profit, that is his royalty. This is not partnership, right? So, because there is no mutual agency, there is no business. Does this create a relationship of partnership? No. Can the paper dealer, that is the third party, make Y liable for the paper supplied to X? No, since he's not a partner, how can he be held liable? Now, A and B purchase a tea shop and incur additional expenses for purchasing utensils, etc., each contributing half of the total expense. The shop is leased down on daily rent. Rent is never partnership. So, when you rent a property, renting is not considered as an economic activity. So, it is not a partnership. The state government of X, a state in the country, is holding 48 lakh shares of Y Limited. So Y Limited ka total shares is 95 lakhs, of which the state government is holding how many? 48 lakh. Now, is it 51% or more? No, it is less than 51%. So, can I call Y Limited a government company? No. Y Limited directly holds 2,50,600 shares of Z Limited, whose total shares is 5 lakh. Is it holding more than half of the shares of Z? Yes. That means, can I say Y Limited is the holding of Z Limited? Yes. Z Private Limited claimed the status of a subsidiary of Y Limited? Yes. As well as a government company. Well, is it a subsidiary of Y Limited? Yes. Now, if Y Limited was a government company, even Z Limited could have been a government company. But Y Limited is not a government company. So can Z Limited also be a government company? No. So it is a subsidiary, but not a government company. An anticipatory breach of contract is a breach of contract occurring before the date fixed for performance. Also discuss the effect. So when prior to the due date, one party comes to know the other will not perform, we have two options. We can cancel the contract on that very date or wait till the due date. If you cancel the contract on that day, you can claim the damages. If you wait till the due date, then on the due date, if the other party performs, you are bound to accept. But if the other party does not perform, it is an actual breach, you can claim the damages and cancel the contract. So anticipatory breach effect is you can either decide to cancel on that day or wait or carry forward till the due date. Mr. Gaurav and Mr. Vikas entered into a contract on the 1st of July, according to which Mr. Gaurav has to supply 100 tons of sugar to Mr. Vikas at a certain price, strictly within a period of 10 days of the contract. Mr. Vikas also paid an amount of 70,000 towards advance. Here, time is very strictly of 10 days only of the above contract. The mode of transportation available between their place is roadway only. Severe flood came on 2nd July and the only road connecting their place was damaged and could not be repaired within 15 days. Time is specifically given and contract is not performed within the time. But was it the fault of the other party? No, this is a supervening impossibility situation. Mr. Gaurav offered to supply sugar on 20th July, for which Mr. Vikas did not agree. Can he reject? Yes, because he specifically told that I want it within this period of time. So, can he reject? Yes. On 1st August, Mr. Gaurav claimed compensation of 20,000 from Vikas for refusing to accept the supply of sugar. Can he claim compensation? No. Because it was very specifically given that I want the goods within 10 days only, which was not there within the purview of the contract. On the other hand, Vikas claimed for refund of 70,000. Because it is supervening impossibility, can you ask for the refund? Yes. So that means Mr. Vikas has a right to claim the 70,000 back, but Mr. Gaurav will not get the compensation of 20,000. R gives his umbrella to M during the rainy season to be used for 2 days during examination. M keeps the umbrella for a week. While going to R's house to return the umbrella, M accidentally slips and the umbrella is badly damaged. Who will bear the loss? M. Even if the bailee has taken reasonable care of the goods, if he fails to return the goods after the time specified for bailment or retains the goods after the time specified for bailment, if anything happens to the goods, he is liable for the loss. What is a check under the Negotiable Instruments Act and who are the parties involved? A check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker, not expressed to be payable otherwise than on demand, and includes a truncated check or a check in an electronic form. Who are the parties involved? Drawer, drawee, pay. Drawer is the person who draws the check. Drawee is always a banker to whom the instruction is given to pay, and the pay is the person to whom the check is payable. What are the essential elements of a check? Since it's a bill of exchange, all the essentials of bill of exchange are there. It should be in writing, it should be signed by the maker, right? Then there should be a promise to pay a certain sum of money. The promise should be to pay a certain sum of money, correct? Then it should be signed, acha, writing ho gaya. Then it should be an unconditional promise to pay. then it should always be drawn on a specified banker. It is always payable on demand. What is the structure of the Indian judicial system and what is the hierarchy of courts in India? So basically, in India, the courts, it is basically if there is any fight between a citizen and citizen or between the citizen and government, then we can take this dispute. Fight is not the correct word. I should actually say dispute. If there is any dispute between the citizens or between the citizen and government, then this case can be taken to the court. Now, whenever I say the case can be taken to the court, what do I mean by the case can be taken to the court? It means that they can file a case against each other. The purpose of the court is to regulate the interpretation of the acts and the statutes, to resolve the dispute between the concerned parties, and to promote fairness amongst the people of India. Hierarchy is at the top, we have the Supreme Court, below the Supreme Court, we have the High Court, below the High Court, we have the District Court, and below the District Court, we have the Metropolitan Courts. Avyuk purchased 100 kgs of wheat from Bhaskar at 30 per kg. Bhaskar says that the wheat is in the warehouse in the custody of Kishore, the warehouse keeper. Kishore confirmed Avyuk that he can take the delivery of wheat from him. Until then, he is holding wheat on Avyuk's behalf. Constructive delivery. Delivery without any physical delivery. Before Abhyuk picks the goods from the warehouse, the whole wheat of the warehouse has flowed in the flood. Now Abhyuk wants his price on the contention that no delivery was done. Can he say that? No, delivery was already done. It was a in Sale of Goods Act, delivery can be actual, constructive, and symbolic. Here, constructive delivery is done. So, is Abhyuk right? No, he cannot claim the price of the goods as the delivery was already. Classify the following transaction according to the types of goods they are. A wholesaler of cotton has 100 bales in his godown. He agrees to sell 50 bales on a certain goods. And these bales were selected and set aside. A certain goods. A agrees to sell to B 1 packet of sugar out of the lot of 100 packets lying in his shop. Uncertain goods, right? When the goods are only described, it is uncertain. When, as per the description, they are taken out, they are ascertain. Here they are set aside, so ascertain. Here only description. He agrees to sell to S all the apples which will be produced, future. If he would have said, if I am able to produce or whatever, then it would have been contingent. Since no such condition was given, it's future. When does dissolution of partnership take place under the provisions of the Indian Partnership Act? Dissolution of partnership can take place without the order of the court or with the order of the court. Without the order of the court, it can be by agreement or happening of certain contingencies. By agreement, all the partners agree to dissolve the firm. Happening of certain contingencies, term is over, purpose is over, partner is dead, partner is insolvent, except one, all are dead, except one, all are insolvent. And by notice, that happens in case of partnership at will. It can also happen with the order of the court. That means any partner or any third party may apply to the court that this firm should be dissolved. When this application is made, the court may order for the dissolution of the firm, which may happen in any of these cases: permanent incapacity of an active partner, consistent breach of contract, perpetual losses, business becoming illegal, partnership becoming an illegal association, misconduct of a partner, just deadlock in management, except one, all are dead or all are insolvent, and any just and equitable grounds. Define consideration, state the characteristics of consideration. When at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person had done or abstained from doing, or does or abstains from doing, or will do or abstain from doing, then each such acts or abstinence form consideration for each other. What are the characteristics? Consideration must move at the desire of the promiser. Consideration may move from the promisee or any other person. Consideration may be executed or executory, may be past, present, or future. Need not be adequate, must be something which a promiser is not already bound to do, and must be lawful, legal, and not against public policy. Nakul made a promissory note in favor of Sahadev of 10,000 and delivered it to him. Sahadev endorsed the promissory note in favor of Arjun but delivered to Arjun's agent. Delivery of to the agent is a valid or is considered to be a delivery to the person. Is a valid delivery to the person, or it is deemed to be a delivery of to that person, is considered as a delivery to that person. Subsequently, Arjun's agent died and promissory note was found by Arjun in his agent's table. Arjun sued Nakul for the recovery of the note, whether Arjun can recover. Yes, because the delivery was already made. Utkarsh purchased Utkarsh purchased some goods from Saksham for 50,000 on 14th August. Saksham draws a bill of exchange on Utkarsh and sends to him for acceptance on the same day at 3 p.m. Utkarsh requested Saksham to allow him some time for acceptance. Saksham allowed him 48 hours. Anyway, for a bill of exchange, you need to give 48 hours for acceptance, exclusive of holidays. Utkarsh could not accept till 16th August 3 p.m. Saksham treated the bill as dishonored for non acceptance. So you have to give 48 hours for acceptance, excluding holidays. Here you gave it on 14th August at 3 p.m. Now 15th is a holiday, so will not be counted. 16th at 3 p.m. he treated it as dishonored for non acceptance. Not correct. Why is it not correct? Because 15th is a holiday. So if you have given it on 14th August at 3 p.m., you have to wait till 17th August 3 p.m. So if it is not accepted by 17th August 3 p.m., then it is dishonored by non acceptance. Explain the terms trafficking relating to public offices. So here you have to talk about sale of public offices and stifling prosecution. So when you bribe for any public post or title, that is sale of public offices, stifling prosecution when an offense has to be punished by imprisonment, but the parties settle it without imprisonment. That is, you settle it with a fine, you settle it outside the court. That is stifling prosecution. That happens for not compoundable offense. In case of compoundable offense, it is not mandatory for imprisonment, but not compoundable imprisonment is mandatory. There, if you settle without imprisonment, it's stifling prosecution. Explain any six circumstances in detail in which details you have to write it. Anyway, it's a 7 marks. You have to write it completely. Nemo dat quod non habit means no one can give what he has not got. लेकिन law में लोचा होता है. So there are 8 cases. Sale by a mercantile agent when he's acting in the ordinary course of the business, has the possession of the goods or the document of title with the consent of the owner, sells it to a bona fide purchaser. Sale by one of the joint owners when one of the joint owners has the possession of the goods with the consent of the others, sells it to a bona fide purchaser. Sale is valid. Sale by a person in possession under a voidable contract. When a person has the possession of the goods under a voidable contract and before the contract is cancelled, sells it to a bona fide purchaser. Sale is valid. Sale by estoppel. When the owner of the goods lets the buyer believe that the person who is selling him the goods has a right to sell, the sale is valid. Sale by a person in possession before sale. When a person has the possession of the goods, not the ownership, where he'll get the ownership on a future date, sells it to a bona fide purchaser, sale is valid. Sale by a person in possession after sale. When a person has the possession of the goods, when the seller has sold the goods but still has the possession, resells them to a new buyer, the sale is valid. Sale by an unpaid seller. When an unpaid seller, after exercising his rights of lien and rights of stoppage and transit, resells the goods, the sale is valid. And the last one, sale under other acts, a finder of the goods, pawnee or pledgee, or assignees or liquidators. When they sell, it's absolutely valid. So with this, we are done with the discussion of mock test 2. I hope your studies are going very well. Happy learning and stay motivated. Thank you so much.